Shalom, people. This is Brother Laws coming at you with another video. And like to send a shout out to a gentleman that I met down in Charlotte today by the name of Samuel. Met him at the Holiday Inn on North College Street. Um, Stated that he had been watching some of my videos, which was kind of surprising, but also encouraging, just to actually meet somebody that took time out from their busy day to listen to some of the teachings that I've put on YouTube along with my wife, and just to, you know, uh, actually meet a flesh and blood person. Um, it was really exciting to know that maybe a little bit of something that I said might help someone out there. So appreciate you coming up and introducing yourself to us, brother. And the pleasure was all ours. And I wish you much success in your career choice that you have for right now. I pray that the Most High Yah this teach you uh, not only how to war uh, with your hands, which he told David, asked him to teach me how to war with my hands, but I also pray that the Most High Yah help you to be able to war in the spirit, because just like Paul stated, and this video is not going to be long because we had a long day and had a very uh, horrific incident that happened, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But getting back to what I was stating about warring in the spirit, Paul used a lot of uh, terms dealing with physical exercise. One of the things that he uh, talked about is that he's not fighting uh, this fight, you know, basically, um, he stated, I'm not shadow boxing. Basically, I think the type of term he used, and I got to find the scripture. But basically, Paul said, you know what, we're not out here shadow boxing. We actually are out here engaging the enemy and actually going blow to blow, toe to toe, as they say in boxing. And so I would say the same thing for you, brother. Um, in some of the places that you might go, that you're gonna have to go blow for blow, toe to toe with the Hasatan and his agents out there, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Um, that which is not seen is actually more powerful than that which we see every day. Not to say that if somebody actually physically come up and hit you, it's not gonna hurt, but understand a lot of times the motivation that will have these people come up and maybe attack you or insult you or whatever, that's coming from a spirit anyway. And you think about the fact that when they were in the process of splitting the atom, uh, that it was all on a microscopic um, level. So when they first uh, tested, they were going to do the first test on the atomic bomb, they wasn't sure whether it was going to be a flop or whether it's going to cause a chain reaction that would destroy the whole world. We know eventually uh, they were able to successfully detonate that atomic bomb in Los Alamos. One little bomb that had so much power, but the thing that it was creating all of this um, um, energy being released was something that was microscopic atoms, which cannot be seen with the eye. They were as you would say, in the unseen world, but it has yet much more power than uh, uh, hundreds of thousands of tons of TNT that you could see. You could put it in one little bomb, and people will say, "One bomb?" Well, it's the same way with demonic, entities. And I've been in situations where you had people that seemed like they were small and could have been female, whatever. That when these unseen forces, these demons, these fallen angels, a power got inside these people. A couple of men was not able to hold some of these people down, and so that's why we have to learn how to war in the spirit. So that's my word of encouragement to you today, brother. Um, Also, um, it was very horrific incident that happened to us when we was leaving from my wife's family reunion. That's why we was down there for her family 90th family reunion, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When we left out from they had like a family inspirational you know service today. Um, when we left out, I guess around 2, when we got down into Cabarrus County near Kannapolis, we were ran into like a stalled traffic. So um, praise the Most High. He is so good. I looked in the rearview mirror just in enough time to see one vehicle ram into the back of another vehicle, and instantaneously it exploded. It was such a big explosion. I seen tires flying. The flames that came after it hit the. I guess it must have hit the gas tank of that car, because it was stop and go traffic. It blew tires. I think I seen, and I could be wrong, but I think I seen an individual's arm fly out the window, because it was an explosion when it hit. And apparently I kept moving. After I seen that, I didn't look back, but my sons didn't look back, and I guess other cars got involved. But I mean, it was just so surreal. um I hadn't seen, and that's at this moment they're not saying if anyone has perished, and we're praying that that's not the case. But I would not be surprised if several people, if that's the case, that would have perished. I pray that it's not. If they haven't, said that it is. I don't want to speak bad about the thing, but it just looked to me like definitely the car that got hit, that whoever was in that car, um, if they survived, they have very horrific injuries. And I was checking the news, breaking news of the news stations down in the Charlotte, Rowan, and Cabarrus County area, and they finally was able to get the traffic. It was around 2:20, 2:25 when it happened, and we kept going. We got out of it because, like I said, it started a chain reaction, and we didn't want to get caught up in that. But you could see the flames as we was driving on down. You could see the flames. It was leaping up really high, and when I finally was able to get a report online, they showed that vehicle that I had seen that had got hit. I guess the very first one that got hit, and it was burnt to a crisp, and they had a tarp over it. So you figure in your mind what they had that tarp over it. But it was very, heart wrenching. When I was in combat, when I was in the army, that's something you expect to see, death and destruction. But here in this nation, you know, one of the things that is a really big killer of people in this nation is car accidents. Between the DUIs and the distracted driving with cell phones, eating, doing your hair, brushing your teeth, changing diapers or whatever else crazy things that people be doing when they driving, distracted driving, and all these other things kill hundreds of thousands of people every year. I'm talking about hundreds. Listen to me. Hundreds of thousands of people every year die on the roads here in America. Yes, it's true. You see wars and stuff that's going on in other nations, but when you get on the highway, you surely truly are going into a war zone. So when we think about wars and rumors of wars, let's not just think about people shooting guns at each other all the time and planting roadside bombs. When you get on the highways or even just the regular streets of America, you are entering a combat zone, especially if you get down south, like where I'm at, where it's NASCAR country, and everybody likes to try to drive fast, and everybody likes to try to do their fast and furious imitations where they are zipping in and out between other cars because apparently when I was looking back there, it was stop and go traffic, and when it's that happens, I'm always searching because I know how the stop and go traffic is. Some people get going and they pick their speed up, and instead of keeping it a safe distance, they knowing that the traffic can suddenly stop again, they'll just try to zip up real quick, or whatever, and just taking their time until it clears up. So from what it looked like to me, the car that got hit from behind, the one that I seen, he crossed over from his lane right into the path of that car that was coming. He kind of diagonally cut across from there, because sometimes when the stop and go traffic and people don't want to get in the line, and they'll drive off to the far right, and then they'll try to come up on you and get you to let them in, after they bypassed everybody. I don't know if that's what he was doing, but when I do know that what I seen was he crossed diagonally across, and that car caught him from behind at the right angle where it hit his gas tank, and he exploded, and he was just pushing that car, so hard and fast that it knocked the tires out. And I could be wrong, but I looked like I seen that the guy's arm might have been coming out the window, flying out. I don't know, because he hit it hard. And in it, I went and prayed with my sons, because they had never seen anything like that before. My wife, she didn't actually see it, but she heard the sound. I think she seen the flames a little bit, but I was trying to get out of there before it pushed it into me. But apparently some other cars, I think they said it might have been a total of 6 cars that was involved, and they showed pictures. 2 of them looked like they were really bad from, fire and whatever else. But yeah, it's dangerous out there, and that's why every morning I pray before I get out on the highway or roads here in North Carolina. This is a very dangerous place to be a driver. It really is. And around the holidays, it's one of the worst states that you can be in when it pertains to drinking and driving. And there's so much DUIs and DUI deaths in this state. It's just overwhelming. And so, again, I'm praying that, if if they haven't, actually reported anybody deceased or dead, I pray that it's not the case, but I do believe I'm not. This is a sad fact. If they do survive, they're gonna have a long recovery. And just be careful out there, people, when you get on the road. Put your hands in the hands of the Most High Yah and His Son Yeshua and the holy uh, Malaks, the angels, to watch over you. I've been in several car accidents. Thank the Most High that He helped me survive. A head-on collision with a gentleman that pulled out in front of me one many years ago when I was on the highway. Um, I just thank the Most High. When I was out there, doing things that I shouldn't do. I never hit anybody now. I thank the Most High for that. I never hit anybody. But I just say I got into some situations that, um, you know, I shouldn't have, and Most High brought me out unscathed. So but I don't take that for granted. And so we're not gonna be before you any more longer than what we are, because we gotta you know go in prayer, and us the Most High watch over us and get us some rest for this week coming up, because we got another family reunion. This time it's my family reunion that I gotta go to in Atlanta. And you know these are kind of things that we as people of the Most High, we have to participate in these things. One of the things that I found out, when I was a Christian, not a believer. I was a believer, but I was a Christian believer. Now I'm a believer. I just state that, because that's when after I left Christian, I just said I'm a believer. I'm not a Christian because, first of all, we know the story behind it. But when I was a Christian believer, um, one of the things I noticed, I think I told you before, we was in a Pentecostal. They always would try to tell you, well, we now your substitute family. If since your family don't talk like us and act holy like us, you don't need to be spending that much time with them. You don't need to be going to their family reunions. You don't need to be going to dinner and all this kind of stuff with them. You need to do everything with us. To a certain extent, I understand what the scripture says about being separate, and that who is my brother, my sister, those that do the will of the Most High Yah. But I'm saying to cut off total um, association is not of the Most High Yah. Not only that, it's deadly, and I think we talked about that a few videos ago about being careful when you join, quote unquote, these religious groups, whether it's Christian, Hebrew, Islam, whoever, that when they start telling you to cut yourself off from your family, that's a sure sign that you joining a cult, or at least this head in that direction, that you don't want your good to be evilly spoken of. I'm sorry. Yeah, your good to be evilly spoken of. If you know that they're getting ready to engage in some crazy stuff, like, yeah, we all the men, we're gonna have family reunion, all the men, we're gonna go to the strip club or something like that. I'm not talking about that. You wouldn't definitely participate in that. But if they having a picnic and they playing games, they're going swimming, they're eating, and just talking about different things, this is your blood connection. And remember, they are Hebrews too, just like you. uh, what did Yeshua tell the scribes and the Pharisees when he was drinking with the tax collectors and all those eating and drinking with him? He said, I didn't come to those that were well. I came for those that were sick. These Hebrews that are sick. When the woman with the issue of blood, when he healed her, What did he tell the Pharisees and Sadducees? He said, Is it not meet that I healed this daughter of Abraham?" Meaning, here's a Hebrew woman that needs healing, and because you got a misinterpretation of what her uncleanness meant, it was not uncleanliness that was a monthly cycle. It was a illness where she was continuously having. Therefore, is it better for her to just die or to be given life again? Because she was living a life of death because of the laws, the Levitical laws that probably cut her off from her friends and family. And Yeshua said, isn't it good for the daughter to be healed for this issue, so that not only get wellness in her body, but also can join back to the family of Yasharal. And so it's the same way with us. I'm not saying that you hang out with cousin uh 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 cousin Omar, the family, drunk, going down the street with him to the liquor house or anything like that. But if he is at the if he's at the reunion or whatever, and y'all just sitting down having a discussion and talking about, when y'all was growing up, ain't nothing wrong with that. And ain't nothing wrong with that. If he try to offer you a beer, of course you say, hey, not that you know drinking the beer is bad or anything. I'm not saying that neither. But of course, with a guy that's alcoholic, you probably want to abstain at least at that moment to get him on the understanding that, hey, we can have this conversation without me having a beer, and then without you having a beer. Can't we just have a conversation around us just talking and not have to ingest alcohol in order for us to get the words to flow out of our mouth? I know the interpretation that everyone has about Judah's eyes being red with wine, and his teeth being white, and all this stuff, where they try to say, Judah just like to have a strong drink now and then. But if you go back and read some stuff in the Apocrypha where Judah talks about how he got with the Canaanite women, one of the things he said was the wine is what caused him to uh, uh, get stout in his own heart, and go against what his father had told him about messing with those women in that area, and that he shouldn't have done it, but because of the wine. And then after all the stuff that happened with Tamar, he's talked about how he if you read about, I think it's a testimony of Judah or something like that, where I guess he's bringing his sons around and passing on some knowledge to him. One of the things that he said after the incident that happened with Tamar, his daughter-in-law, where he had slept with her unknowingly and got her pregnant, he said he wasn't gonna drink any more alcohol for the rest of his life, because he could see that he was not good at maintaining his kingliness, his understanding and wisdom when he had ingested alcohol, and especially in the large quantities, I guess, that he did. And so that will be a warning to us. And I know that in this land of our captivity, that men would say, who but us have a don't have a legitimate reason to ingest alcohol because of our pain and our suffering, or whatever. But remember the admonition of the Bible: wine is a mock of strong drink, and raging. He that is food therein is not wise. And that if you know that if you sitting down at the dinner table with someone and they invite you over, and they're pouring out glasses of wine, that if you can't stop at that one glass that they poured, and that is going to get set off a chain reaction, maybe you should just say, look, I'm gonna abstain, and just ask them to forgive you for if they feel you being unhostile, but that you know what's best for you. Not to mention, like I told you, in this state and in many southern states, and across the United States, drinking and driving kills a lot of people, and therefore, if you get stopped by law enforcement and they smell any alcohol on your breath, that you're gonna be in, put yourself in a really bad situation, so that you just need to be very careful with the the alcohol when you at these family gatherings and stuff, like I'm stating, but not let dad and the people maybe cursing around you, whatever, and maybe telling some kind of off colored stories or whatever. You kind of got to look that way and understand that light needs to be where the darkness is at. You don't want to put all the candles in one place. The light is to be spread out where the darkness is at. And if amongst your family you got darkness, you want to be that light there. You don't want to be the one that's going to take them to the store and get the 24 pack of beer. Now, I'm not saying that, they say, oh, you the only one that ain't drinking. We need to get some more alcohol. Can you take us to go get some alcohol? I definitely wouldn't participate in that. Not because drinking alcohol is bad, but because if they are drinking to get themselves to such a state that they are drunk and they're going to be driving, you don't want to be an accessory to a crime. So I would just leave it like that. And indeed, if you see somebody in that reunion that's probably is sauced up to a certain extent, maybe you would want to be the one that's going to say, you know what, cuz or whoever, I'm gonna give you a ride to the hotel or wherever you staying at, because I don't want you to hurt yourself or somebody else. And you can only do that if you in the midst of your people. Don't shun your people because of these camps and these churches and these mosques and all these people telling you to do that. We your family and all that stuff. I'm telling you, I've seen it too many times that when something goes down and maybe you part of this ministry or you part of this whatever, and then you see some wrongdoing and you decide, hey, I want to get out of this. Them people excommunicate you, and you might have spent all your money, you might have spent all your time, energy, or whatever, and then like I stated a few videos ago, you cut your family short, and then when all that go down, you come back to them, you're gonna be looking mighty stupid, and they gonna say, I knew it, I told you. And that's not to say that when you part of something that you believe is doing right for Yah, that you might not in the beginning spend a lot of time and effort getting yourself acquainted with the people, because yeah, they will definitely, you they are your family too. You have a spiritual, but you also have a natural, and therein lies the thing with there is no more Jew or Gentile, right? Where with this Christianity thing, where it said we are just all Christians or whatever, and basically saying, well, that this is your ad hoc family, and you can't say, oh, I'm black or I'm white or whatever, so that if something goes down, oh, you shouldn't be on the side of black, or you shouldn't be on the side of white, you should be on the side of right. I understand that to a certain extent, but do not deny your people. Do not deny your the Negro Hebrew race. Do not deny that. I'm not saying that if they going out and they trying to get you to be part of some Egyptian awakening or something like that, that you're gonna participate in that. But I just say be careful of just outright saying, I'm dealing with my family. I ain't dealing with them. But I know you can get to a certain extent that maybe if you are participating and they do try to get you involved in some stuff that you and your family don't want to, I can understand that, but don't start outright saying I'm not gonna do things with my fleshly family. Don't do that. You might be the only light, the only witness that they have, and especially when it pertains to your mother and your father. I'm getting ready to say this, and I'm gonna leave. Yeshua, when he was on this earth, and before the upper room, Mary and his earthly brothers and sisters didn't believe in Yeshua. But when Yeshua was on the cross, he basically looked down and told John to take care of his mother, take care of his earthly mother. You see, he was still concerned about her. He was concerned that she would be taken care of. And we know that she, from looking at the scripture, she later on came to faith in Yeshua, her and his siblings. But even though at the time he was on the cross, I don't think she might have been. He still wanted to make sure that she was cared for. And so that should send a loud message to us that even though Yeshua knew that his family was also confused on who he was. Yeah, even though he did state who was my mother, my brother, my sister, but those that do the will of the Most High, that didn't mean that he said, okay, well, Miriam, she's on his own. He made sure that John knew you need to physically take care of her. First natural, then spiritual. So if you see in this video, just be prayerful about that. If you're a young believer in Yeshua or Jesus, that you, and I mean, and it could be that your family might be Islamic or something like that. As long as they understand that you are a new creature in Yeshua Hamashiach, and that you believe in his word, and you don't believe in it, you gotta play that, close to your chest on how you deal with that. I still would not just outright just abandon them, of course, unless you're a person or the person of your family was in danger, because they might be some kind of radical and say, yeah, if you come here, we're gonna, kill you or something like that. But if not, you know, that's endeavor to keep the bond, that you know that bloodly bond. And the Bible said, even with the unbelieving spouse or whatever, he said, how do you know that you might not win them over? I would say the same thing about those who have families that aren't. Go to those family reunions, go to those picnics. I'm not saying go to Christmas dinner, because we don't believe in that. I wouldn't say go to the Easter dinner, because we don't believe in that. I'm not doing that. But our regular dinner, yeah, I'll go to that. There's some others that have different teachings, maybe on what they believe. Maybe you could go to the Christmas dinner just for the sake of getting with the family. I'll let you, you know, make you pray and let the Most High Yah lead you on that. I'm just saying, we just gotta be wise, because it was one time we were still blind, we were still walking in darkness concerning some of the stuff that we know now. So we gotta give other people a chance to come out and their eyes to be open. If they're believers, it's just a question of them understanding the Bible a little bit better, not to be converted, but to be saved or converted. That's a different story. And we know that they're not. We need to push salvation through Yeshua first, not our identity. We want, because the identity means nothing without being regrafted back into the olive branch. So if you're looking at this video, I hope it was a blessing to you. Um, uh, Make sure to like, make sure to share, and make sure to subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment. And again, I want to thank Brother Samuel for coming over and greeting me and my family today in Charlotte. And have a blessed time while you there in Charlotte doing your thing in the ring. I pray Most High Yah give you strength. Be blessed.